Our world is full of secrets, hidden beneath the waves, buried under shifting sands, lost to the mists of time. Think about it. Cities of gold, forgotten empires, incredible societies vanished, leaving only whispers and legends. These aren't just fairy tales. They are echoes of something real. We are explorers at heart around the corner at the bottom of the ocean. This insatiable curiosity leads us to Atlantis. It's a name everyone knows. Every great mystery has an origin story, a single point where the legend begins. For Atlantis, that point is ancient Greece, with one of the most famous thinkers in human history, the philosopher Plato. Around 360 BC, Plato wrote two dialogues, the Timaeus, the Critias. In these texts, he laid out the blueprint for Atlantis. He gave us a detailed, vivid description, a paradise on earth. The capital had concentric rings of land and water, massive canals and broad bridges, and at the center stood a temple to Poseidon. The Atlanteans, noble, powerful descendants of Poseidon, for generations they lived in harmony and prosperity, but pride came before the fall. Over generations their divine nature diluted, greed, corruption, and an insatiable lust for power. Then, Plato wrote, the gods punished them. In a single terrible day and night, violent earthquakes and floods struck, and Atlantis sank beneath the waves, disappearing forever. If Plato's story is based on a real event, where do we start looking? Many historians and archaeologists believe the answer isn't in the vast Atlantic Ocean, but much closer to home for Plato, the Mediterranean Sea. The most compelling theory centers on the Greek island of Santorini, known in ancient times as Thera. Around 1600 BC, Thera was home to a flourishing and advanced civilization known as the Minoans. They were traders, artists, and builders, with a powerful naval fleet. And in the Bronze Age, it experienced one of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history. The eruption was so massive, it blew the center of the island completely apart, leaving behind the crescent-shaped caldera we see today. While Santorini is a strong contender, the allure of an Atlantic location has led many explorers to the Caribbean. The idea gained serious traction in the 20th century, thanks in part to the predictions of the American psychic Edgar Cayce. Cayce claimed Atlantis was near what is now Bimini in the Bahamas, and that its ruins would be discovered in 1968 or 1969. Right on schedule, in 1968, a pilot flying over the waters off the coast of Bimini spotted a remarkable feature on the seafloor. It was a half-mile-long, perfectly linear arrangement of massive, flat-topped limestone blocks. This formation became known as the Bimini Road or Bimini Wall. The stones looked dressed, intentionally placed, like the foundation of a massive harbor wall or a ceremonial promenade. It seemed too precise, too organized to be a natural formation. However, geologists and marine archaeologists have a different, more down-to-earth explanation. Extensive studies of the Bimini Road have concluded that it's a natural phenomenon known as beach rock. This type of sedimentary rock forms in the intertidal zone when sand and other sediments are cemented together by calcium carbonate. Over time, geologic processes can cause this rock to fracture in remarkably straight lines and geometric patterns, creating the illusion of man-made blocks. While the debate still simmers in some circles, the scientific consensus is that the Bimini Road is a fascinating trick of nature, not a pathway to Atlantis. The search for Atlantis has taken us under the sea and across the ocean, but what if we've been looking in the wrong place entirely? What if the lost city wasn't swallowed by water, but buried by sand? A more recent and visually stunning theory points us to a remote location in the deserts of West Africa, the Richat structure in Mauritania. Better known as the Eye of the Sahara, this geological feature is a massive circular formation over 25 miles in diameter, clearly visible from space. Its resemblance to Plato's description of Atlantis is, frankly, uncanny. Could this massive structure have been the site of the ancient city, with the rings once filled with water, forming the canals Plato described? Even the types of stone Plato mentions, red, black, and white, are found in abundance within the structure. Despite its intriguing appearance from above, there have been no signs of a large-scale, advanced civilization ever found within the structure. Of all the theories about the location of Atlantis, perhaps the most outlandish and imaginative takes us to the most remote and inhospitable place on Earth, Antarctica. This idea was popularized by the book Fingerprints of the Gods, and is rooted in the Piri Reis map of 1513. But the most controversial part of the map is what appears to be the northern coastline of Antarctica depicted without its massive ice cap. The theory of crustal displacement suggests the Earth's outer crust could have shifted, moving the continent that is now Antarctica into a more temperate climate. Then another catastrophic shift moved the continent to the South Pole, where it was rapidly flash-frozen, burying the city under miles of ice. However, the scientific community overwhelmingly rejects this idea. Ice core samples from deep Antarctic ice show it's been frozen for millions of years, long before humans existed, let alone built advanced cities. The frozen continent remains a land of secrets, but likely not the one that holds Atlantis. After all the theories, the expeditions, the debates, we are still left with the ultimate question: did Atlantis really exist? The overwhelming consensus among scientists and historians is no. There is no hard archaeological evidence, no definitive ruin, no artifact that can be traced back to this legendary civilization. Most scholars believe that Plato invented Atlantis as a cautionary tale, a literary device, to explore themes of political power, divine justice, the ideal state. It was a story about how even the most perfect society can be brought down by its own greed and arrogance. And yet the search continues. Why? Why does this story hold such a powerful grip on our collective imagination more than 2,300 years after it was first told? The answer, I think, lies deep within our own human nature. We are drawn to mystery, to the idea that there is more to our world than what we see on the surface. The legend of Atlantis speaks to our deep-seated hope that humanity had a forgotten golden age, a time when we were greater, wiser, more advanced than we are today. It's a story of incredible achievement and tragic loss. The quest for Atlantis is also a quest for ourselves. It represents the ultimate adventure, the dream of making a discovery that would fundamentally change our understanding of human history. Every new underwater anomaly detected by sonar, every strange map, every new theory ignites that hope all over again. The legend is a canvas onto which we can project our own dreams of discovery and our fascination with the unknown. It fuels our desire to explore the deepest oceans, the most remote corners of the planet, always wondering, what if? The story of Atlantis reminds us that our planet still holds secrets, that the past is a vast, undiscovered country. Whether it was a real place or simply a brilliant story, its legacy is undeniable. It has inspired generations of explorers, artists, dreamers to look beyond the horizon, and that spirit of exploration is what drives us forward. The world is a mysterious place, and there are countless other stories out there waiting to be told. The adventure is never truly over. If you want to join me on the next expedition into the unknown, make sure to subscribe. There are always more mysteries to solve.